Oh boy. Oh, I forgot about this chair. No worries. I'm just gonna have to sit at the edge of it. Hello, optimistics. Good morning. Good morning to you, Jesse and Ava as well. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Good morning, Cyber. Good morning, Liana. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Wednesday. It's morning medley number 193. Heavens. 193. Crap, tomorrow I have a raid. Tomorrow I have an Eden raid. Okay. My morning's going A-okay, Lindsay. I'm very tired, though. Gotta say, I'm feeling very sleepy. I don't know if it's how I slept or what. I don't know what's going on, but I'm very sleepy this morning. Okay, me and Liana are on the same page, at least. I'm sorry to hear that, Jesse, about the network problems. sleeping on your back or your side or your stomach, says Cyber. Um, hmm. I want to say I'm a side sleeper, Cyber. I want to say I'm a side sleeper. Occasionally I'll sleep on my back, and occasionally I'll also sleep on my stomach. But I would say that if I was going off of how I sleep most often, I would say I'm probably a side sleeper. Hmm. This song's called Clover Salad. I feel like I'm gonna suffocate if I try to sleep on my stomach. I just turn my head to the side. Um, I think usually when I'm sleeping on my stomach, let me see if I can like come up with rhymes or reasons for this. Sleeping on my side. Um, when do I sleep on my stomach? I guess I sleep on my stomach sometimes when I'm sick. Like if my stomach hurts, I'll intentionally lay on my stomach. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is what I do. Mm. I think I naturally lay down on my stomach. I like laying down on my stomach. And then I think somehow gradually throughout, like being asleep, I will shift to being on my side. Sleeping on back completely is rough, though. I can't think of a time where I've woken up on my back sometimes and I feel weird, but um, yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Good question, I suppose, Cyber. Nobody had ever asked me that question until last year when I went to go buy a bed. The guy said, "Are you a side sleeper, a back sleeper, a stomach sleeper?" And I was just like, "What? That matters?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course that matters." And I didn't even know what to tell him. I was like, "I don't know. I'm usually unconscious, and when I wake up, the last thing I'm thinking about is what position I'm in, unless I'm in pain or something." Anyways, do you know when you'll be able to drive back to LA yet? Oh, that's not good. Oh, this the same pedal was like broken for a second. Do you know when I'll be able to drive back to LA? I will know hopefully by the end of today. Maybe not. Yeah, by the end of the day at the latest. Hopefully, I should know. 2 years ago, I bought a $70 side sleeper pillow, and it was worth it to be honest, says Liana. Somebody, when I went to go buy my new bed, they tried to get me to buy a pillow that was $150, and I laughed. I laughed. But $70 sounds, I mean, reasonable if it's something that you're going to be sleeping on for a pretty long time. Even with my head turned, it still feels weird to lay on my stomach. I don't know why. I get it. I get it, Lindsay. Hmm. Side sleeper pillows are a thing. They absolutely are a thing. They also make stomach sleeper pillows. They have a bunch of different type of side sleeper pillows. For example, Umbe. Definitely research if that's something that you're into. But some of them will just create kind of a shelf so that your neck isn't bent away while you're asleep, so that your neck is remaining straight. Anyways, yeah, definitely look into that if that is something that you may be interested in. That song's called Liminality. I always think it's funny when people take up an enormous amount of space when they sleep. Hmm. Hmm. I take up a lot of space in general, as far as like height. When I sleep, however, I usually will sleep I sleep in a queen size bed alone, so I usually sleep diagonally because I'm tall enough where my feet either my feet are going to be kicking at my keyboard or my head is going to be hitting the wall. So I'll usually shift diagonally if I'm going to be, spread out. Times in the past when I have shared my bed with somebody, usually I will um, do the weird the weird fetal thing. Okay, yeah, tall person problems indeed, Lindsay. Mochi Cosplay says that they do not cosplay as Mochi Block. I do like anime and cosplay. I do exactly cosplay as Mochi. I'm thinking about changing my name though. They do not cosplay as Mochi. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I have to adjust to keep my feet on the bed. Yeah, it's annoying. What was I? Anyways, I hope that cosplaying is going well for you. I personally have never cosplayed in my life. There is actually one. Well, okay. There's actually a lot of photos that I posted um, on Instagram and stories where I'm wearing bunny ears and I'm wearing basically my normal getup, right? I've got the bow tie, I've got a button up, I've got suspenders, I've got bunny ears, I've got some nice chino shorts. I had some Argyle socks, just an Omni fit with bunny ears. But I went to Phoenix Comic Con dressed like that, and everybody thought that I was from something. The bunny ears are my friends. everybody kept asking me like, "Oh, what is this from?" And so I just made up a show called Black Bunny Chronicles, and I would tell everybody that I was like cosplaying the main character from Black Bunny Chronicles. And I actually got a few people who were like, I guess maybe like more elitist weebs, to lie and pretend that they knew what I was talking about. Where I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm the main character from Black Bunny Chronicles. Have you heard of it?" And they're like, that does ring a bell. I think that I did watch a few episodes of that on Crunchyroll. It's actually really good. Do you think it's gonna get a second season? And I was like, oh, that's wild. You guys suck. But now I kind of went along with the lie because it was fun, and I was, I was bored. I lived here, and it was Phoenix Comic Con, which, granted, is a lot of fun and big for Phoenix. Is um, it's no Comic Con. Poser weaves. This song's called Love Letters. This song's called Love Letters again. I don't know if you saw Sire, but English versions of Moon finally got released on Nintendo Switch. Hooray, hooray. It'll be out at the end of this month. I'll probably end up streaming it when it goes live. Moon. What is Moon? Wow, I wonder if I would be able to write something like that again today. That actually is, like, just that movement specifically. That's fun. How did I do that? I don't know. Hello, Zeph. Moon is a great JRPG that is weird and quirky like Mother 2. Word up. Um, I'm sorry the stream keeps dying for you, Leon. I don't know why that's happening. Um, it inspired the guy who made Undertale. Yeah, I've never played any of these games. I've never played Undertale. I've never played Moon. I've never played Mother 2. However, I'm very aware of Mother 2 and Undertale. Mostly aware of Mother 2 because like every you know every nerd musician who I was around, people like Slime Girls, people like Anamanaguchi, people like Max O'Divio, they all are like big fans of Mother 2. And Undertale just kind of took over the internet for a little while, where it's like every indie gamer was really into Undertale. Never really played either one of those. I think it would be hard for me to play now. I have like such a it's really really hard for me to play turn-based RPGs now. I just don't know if I can go back. I'm gonna go ahead and attribute Kingdom Hearts for this. I remember I was super into Final Fantasy, and then Kingdom Hearts came out, and I bought it because I was into Final Fantasy. I wasn't really a big Disney head, but I liked Square and I liked Final Fantasy, and I played that game and I was like, oh, sick. And then ever since playing the first Final Fantasy, I mean the first Kingdom Hearts, anytime I went back to a turn-based RPG, I felt so limited, and I yeah. Anyways, so it's really hard for me to go back and play even some of like the classic greats. For example, Cyber. One of the games I love, like it's like my game, and I haven't beat it, is Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon, as well as Legend of what was the other one called? Jade Cocoon. Jade Cocoon, Legend of Dragoon, and Legend of Legaia. I think I'm saying that right, Legaia. Were some of the like coolest games to me, like the coolest RPGs when I was a kid. And is I want to go back and beat them because like I was not very good at video games when I was a kid, so any JRPG was like impossible for me to beat. I would always kind of get to one boss that would just stump me because I didn't really understand grinding at the time, and so I would love to go back and beat those games because I'm sure they had great stories, but it's like turn-based battle systems like kill me, like they murder my enjoyment of games now. It's just so hard for me to go back. Anywho, yeah, and so as you can imagine, a lot of JRPGs are still turn based, and it's kind of like a gate that keeps me away from enjoying these games. It's kind of sad. Hmm. Anywho, Umbe says, I listen to the progressions in my tracks, and I still wonder what I was going through to make certain sounds, so I feel that on me. Yeah, it's. Sometimes I feel like the things that I play that are old are very sophisticated musically. Like, as far as arrangements go, they're way more sophisticated than whatever I'm doing now. My chords used to feel like they had. Anyways, whatever. Point is, yeah, it's weird when you revisit old works of yours and aren't able to relate to them as a creator anymore. Yeah, I'm super over turn-based RPGs, says Jesse. Suikoden 1 and 2 are two of my games that made me want to make games, and I can hardly replay them. It's hard. Moon isn't turn-based. Oh. Hmm. It's got a catch mechanic. The trailer videos are better at explaining the feel of the game. I think calling it a JRPG is a misnomer. Oh, which is why I'm interested in it. Okay, okay. Word up, Cyber. I'll check it. A Legend of Dragoon remake would be great, says Jesse. I loved that game. I think that there was this weird thing where it was like during a weird time in games where I'm not gonna spend any more time here, but there was a weird time in games where there were so many turn-based RPGs, especially coming out of Japan, that a lot of them were adding like active elements to it. For example, in Legend of Dragoon, when you're attacking, if you like press X at a specific timing interval as you attack, it'll extend the combo. So there's more of an active input element to it. Final Fantasy VIII did this for a second, where like if you were the main character and you attack and you press R1 right as your sword came into contact with the enemy, um, you would take extra damage, and like there was like this little explosion visual effect to let you know you've done it correctly. There was a lot of that going on in fighting games. Also, I mean, in turn-based RPGs. Also, in Legend of Legaia, when you went to go to attack somebody, you would have to press things like left or triangle, press combinations in order to extend the combo. There were a lot of things that made it a little bit more active. And I think that that was like, for me as a kid, that was turn-based games moving away from just the whole like spam X. And I know that that was a gross oversimplification of what turn-based. I know there's a lot of tactics that go into it. It isn't just spam X, but um, not quite as active as I would like for it to be. I guess I'll find out more when I play it, but it's certainly hitting the right aesthetic for me, says Cyber. Interesting. I'll have to look at it to know what the right aesthetic is for you. Hmm. There's a lot of I like that chord progression, but there's a lot of stuff in signals, namely that one is not anything that I've written before or since then. It's an interesting, simple to the ear chord progression, but for the hands, for me, me personally, it's not natural. It doesn't flow naturally from me. It only has now with repetition. Also, in Winter Heart, this one, I can't do it without the right hand. That one. Heaven help me. Lindsay, I as a kid growing up, I lived in a dog house. In that, we kind of always had a dog. There was always at least one dog, sometimes two, very rarely three, but it did happen. Where we would have dogs in the home, or other people would move in and they would bring their dogs. And so I grew up around dogs, and so I like dogs and I appreciate dogs. And I think that I definitely will get a dog again at some point in my life. I will just have to be in a very different place physically and mentally and professionally for me to be able to responsibly um, raise, host um, a dog. But I do like dogs. There we go. What is that? It's almost funny how broken it sounds. It's like it helps it. Why? Why even put half of these sounds in the? Ooh, kind of like that. Okay. You know what this sounds like? Oh my god, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like freaking Nelward. Nelward's a friend of mine, but he definitely messes with like um detuned guitar stuff that goes into like that like. By the way, this is supposed to be a guitar harmonic, but Nelward will often write chords that have those kind of like wonky, goofy sound waves. But even that chord progression, though, the game show chord progression sounds like him to me. If I make a song with him, I may put those in. Oh, it just sounds like no, because then it will just sound like a hymn song. Anyways, I shouldn't say never, but rather never while I'm in the state of my life I'm currently in right now, says Lindsay about dogs. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Adolf Smith says you are underrated AF. Oh, thanks, Adolf. Where do you rate me, Adolf? I don't know what state of life I'm in, but not in the be responsible and taking care of another creature who needs consistent love and attention state. For sure, Lindsay. I travel too much, and when I'm not traveling, I'm working on stuff. I can already imagine me like in like hour, I don't know, 7 of a stream or an hour 9 of like a production session, and then like a dog just like sitting bored in the corner of my room, or like getting into trouble and me getting annoyed. So yeah, I don't think now, but I do think that probably when I'm like in my 40s or something like that, I'm definitely gonna get a dog. If we still have them then, if they haven't gone extinct, I'm gonna like grab me a dog when I'm in my 40s. We're having issues on my iPhone on the stream. The Android was fine, but I gotta charge that phone. YouTube. Does YouTube have like a deference to Android? Also, thank you everybody for liking the stream. It's always nice when I see that there's more likes than people, which maybe I should be concerned about. That means that people liked it and I just left. But thank you for liking the stream. I didn't say that for the past couple of streams. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so here's the thing. Is this a good like piano keyboard for me to play on? Not really. But there's this hmm. Let's talk about music and sound origins, and where a lot of weird stuff comes from. So a lot of keyboards tried very hard to emulate real sounds. For example, this being a guitar harmonic. An actual guitar harmonic. I don't know how much you guys in the stream know about guitars. I'm not really going to explain how to create a guitar harmonic because I don't have a guitar with me, and I feel like that would be the best teaching or explaining tool and teaching somebody or explaining to somebody how to create a guitar harmonic. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to say that guitar harmonics don't exist in specific ranges, right? They're typically very high. You couldn't play a guitar harmonic down there. But there's a few things like there's dynamic samples and then there's sound fonts. Now there's a lot of different varied terms for both of these things: dynamic samples and sound fonts. Now typically, if you're getting a keyboard, you're dealing with sound fonts. And when I'm saying sound font, Lindsay will understand this because I know Lindsay uses sound fonts, or at least recently has gotten into them. But for people that don't know, typically when there's a keyboard, what they will do is they will record a sound at one note, usually like the middle of the piano, like here or here. Typically. But it doesn't always have to be the same note. It's good for organization, especially if you're going to be sound fonting an entire keyboard, but they will record one sound and then they will simply pitch it to the different pitches. And I don't really necessarily need to get into sound design to to explain to you that me singing, no, not even me singing, me talking at the voice that I'm doing right now, and then going in digitally and detuning it versus me naturally talking deeper or trying to talk higher, there's going to be some differences there. Now, the same note will be hit, absolutely, but there will be a degradation of sound quality if I'm going in digitally and moving the pitch. Think of it as somebody auto tuning their vocals versus just singing the actual notes. If you're auto tuning something, there's always going to be a slight loss in quality and dynamics of the sound, which is why if we take sorry, hold on. If we take like a string sound, so let's say this almost sounds real. To a layperson, this just does sound like a string. But if we play it much lower, actually that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Okay, anyways, point is, if you, oh, the dog sequences. That's actually a really good point. I wanted to bring those up, but one, Maddie's not in the stream, and two, this keyboard doesn't have those, so. Actually, no, hold on. I'm an idiot. It is a Yamaha keyboard. I don't even know what that sound's supposed to be, honestly. Guys, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, it times out. Okay, so that's supposed to be a train. There's a nice, like, actually rhythm to that, but we're not gonna do that now. Helicopter? Okay, so if I'm playing the, hi, hey, what's up, Max? If I play the sound down here, it kind of sounds like a helicopter, kind of. But if I play it up here, not really. And that's because they're pitching the sound. They will record a sound at one pitch, and then they will digitally pitch it to different notes and different keys. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is to explain how sound fonts work and why they're smaller and easy to handle versus sample libraries. So, you guys have heard some of the strings that I use in my songs. You guys have been in Friday streams and you've seen me build a song, right? You've seen me build a song. And you've seen me use strings, and those strings sound very good. They sound very high quality, and the reason they sound high quality is because they come from something called a sample library. Now, sample libraries are very, very big as far as space they take up on computers, several hundreds of gigs for a sample library, and also, they take a long time to make. They're usually pretty expensive. You have to pay for them. And that's because they are created by having an actual orchestra in a studio record everything meticulously. Like, they will record one note. Like, they'll record like an A or something like that, like 18 different times. They'll do it hard, they'll do it soft, they'll do it kind of like medium, then they'll do it with more fret noise, and then they'll do it in a pizzicato way. They'll do it with like some tremolo on it. They'll do it so many different varied ways, and then each one of those ways with different lengths and stuff like that, and then they put that into a sample library so that when I'm playing piano or playing keyboard with those violin sounds, it sounds real because it is real. It is an actual performance of that note. While on an actual keyboard, like the one that I'm using right now, it doesn't have that. So if I play a violin, there's one note for the violin, but a violin can't actually go this low. Violins have a range. Most instruments have a range. I'm an Arizona guy. Most instruments have a range. So what they will do is they will digitally detune the instrument to be able to hit a variety of different notes. And a lot of times for sound fonts, it enables you to go outside of that instrument's frequency range. So, for example, a flute. If you're playing a flute, some of you in the stream will be familiar with a flute and its sound, and roughly its sound range. It's a little bit higher. It's a higher instrument. You can't hit really low notes on a flute because they just don't exist in the abilities and the frequency range of that instrument. Um, Instruments with a lot bigger ranges are things like a piano, something like a guitar. A guitar can go from pretty low to extremely high. Same thing with a piano. But most instruments that are not a piano, guitar, organ, or whatever have a pretty small frequency range. Think of an ocarina. Ocarina only has a frequency range of about 2 octaves. Um, a lot of instruments are actually like that. But when you take an instrument and you turn it into a sound font, like on this keyboard, it essentially gives any instrument, like a violin, the range of a keyboard. And so this can be fun and useful if you're trying to create kind of impossible arrangements for violins or something like that. But it also makes the sound obviously sonically fake to people that are familiar with the instrument, right? Like somebody who plays violin can tell when a violin's real or not. Sometimes just by the sonic character of the sound and what's being played, but also sometimes just by the notes that are being hit, and if those notes are actually possible to be hit on the instrument in question. Um, word up, word up, word up. I think why did I bring this up? What was the point of me bringing this? Oh, because when I came here and I on Monday when I was playing on this keyboard and I was trying to do a lot of my piano arrangements, it was upsetting to play because this keyboard has one, no weighted keys, two, inferior sounds, and three, maybe most importantly, it doesn't have velocity sensitive keys. So no matter how hard I hit a note or how soft I hit a note, it's going to make the same exact volume. But outside of the scope of this being a good piano keyboard, it has a lot of really cool sounds on it. And when I say cool sounds, I wish that I saved or remembered what sound was the piano with the guitar harmonics. Those were fun to play on. Hold on, I'm gonna find them. It kind of sucks that there's no way to just scroll, right? There's no scroll wheel. That seems like a massive oversight for this. Just. Oh wait, no, there is. Okay. Found it. Okay. That definitely more Nellward sound I was talking about before. I could make like a how-to Nellward video if I wanted to. But anyways, the reason that these sounds are sometimes sought after is because when Yamaha and Casio and several other Japanese companies that make keyboards were trying to emulate as many instruments as possible, they got into sound fonting everything. And when a lot of game composers didn't make nearly as much money as they do now in like the 80s and 90s. So even after a lot of technology would allow them to put more than just like chip tune, they weren't limited by the sound card of the hardware anymore and could now use real instruments. They still were limited by budgets, right? If you're composing for a game, 20, 30 years ago, a lot of time, unless you're on a big budget, a huge budget studio, you can't really afford to have a full orchestra come in um, to record something. So a lot of times they would use Yamaha and Casio keyboards. And so a lot of those sounds that were supposed to be a guitar are supposed to be strings got cemented in a lot of children's minds and ears as like, oh, this is what an orchestra sounds like. I'm listening or I'm playing Final Fantasy VI or I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics and I'm hearing this big string arrangement and I love the way the strings sound. I would like to make a song like this. And, those weren't really strings, those were sound fonts. And so now a lot of those sounds have this like cool retro thing, but they were never. It's funny because in a sense they are a failed venture. They were supposed to sound as close as possible to a guitar, and this does not sound like a guitar to me at all. But they definitely became a sound in their own like right. They have their own identity in space, which is really cool. Um, Anywho, uh, that explains that. But I do like the guitar harmonic sound. Oh, I can go down. And whoa, that's weird actually. Hold on. I'm gonna spend some more time on that when I'm on my actual piano. Um, but I do like the song. And then it goes. Okay. Yeah, there it is. There it is. No, then I can't go back up there. Oh. Ah. Start it over. Ew. I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. What model of keyboard did you say that was? This is a PSR model, but It's specifically to PSR E263. All the PSR models are kind of the same. No offense to Yamaha, but they're kind of the same. It's like the PSRs are kind of like 2K. Like they come out with a new one every year. It's kind of the same keyboard, isn't it? Though, probably gonna get in trouble for saying something like that. Omni looks healthy, says Alpha. You know what's funny, Alpha? I forgot about the big differences between hard and soft water. And the water in Arizona is so hard. And so, if you don't know what the difference is between hard and soft water, maybe research it on your own time. It's not super important. But for those people that live in states that have very hard water, when you get out of the shower, you're almost already dry. Like hard water dries out your skin so much. And so I was used to like living in LA where the water is somewhat hard. Most desert cities have really hard water. The water is somewhat hard, but nowhere near as hard as Arizona. So like I get out of the shower in LA and I do have to like dry off for a while, then like sit and let things like do their thing. In Arizona, like I got out of the shower and by the time I had made it back to the room, like I was almost pretty much dry. So I feel super dry, Alpha. I'm glad I look healthy. I think it's just I'm clean. I'm I'm clean. I usually don't shower before the stream, Alpha. Maybe this is too much information, but usually I shower after the stream when I'm back at home. Lindsay hates hard water. There's a lot of minerals in San Marcos. Word, 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 word. I believe this. According to Yamaha, it's an ideal starter keyboard. I would agree with that. Me and Mama are on the same page as far as it being a good starter keyboard. Because I started on a keyboard that was the not this, but the Casio equivalent of this. Casio has a keyboard model line called the Casio Tone, and it's basically this. Like I could even pull it like that. That keyboard's in another room. Maybe in a future stream. Oh, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow actually, but if I am by some coincidence or something like that, I'll pull out the other one. I have a Casio tone, and it's black like this. It's a little bit bulkier, but say a lot of very similar sounds on it. And I love that keyboard. Anyhow, the fountains always have the white dust on them, says Alpha, talking about that calcium buildup that happens when you have hard water. Mm. One of my teachers told me not to drink from the fountains on regular, or I'll get kidney stone. This is good advice. The drinking fountains, yeah, in Arizona always have like that buildup, the buildup around them. It sucks because there's really nothing you can do about it, you know. Live in a place with hard water, you just got hard water. Hmm. Oh crap! Wait, hold on. Is Maddie here? Oh snap, Maddie's here. Oh, that's good. This is good news. Hope you're doing okay, Maddie. worst tap water I've ever experienced was in Florida. That stuff was horrendous. Word. Um, Maddie says you're in Arizona, right, Omni? That's what I gathered from Instagram. Maddie, your detective work is on point. Um, Maddie's one of the few people I think that actually came to the stream knowing where I was, so word up. I was expecting a, whoa, Omni scene change? Or like, different room? Is this a different room in the LA apartment? Did even this guy said that it looked like the 70s in here, which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny because I'm pretty sure like all the furniture in here is I don't say it's from the 70s, but it's not modern. It's not modern. This much we can conclude. Okay, I used the power of my two brain cells. Well, at least you have two. The water here makes for some banging bagels and pizza bread, says Umbe. Are you in New York? Are you in New York? Because that is the thing, right? Freaking New York water and their freaking pizza dough. Oh, I'm gonna eat pizza today. Oh, guys, I went to the poutine place yesterday. It's closed. So, no poutine for me. Smokes does not exist in the entirety of the United States anymore. If you want to have Smokes poutine, the closest one to me is in Quebec. So that's great. Rip to Smokes. It's wild because they were growing. I would love to know what happened. They were growing, and then in a time span of a year and a half, they closed systematically every single location they've had in the States, and they retreated back up to Canada. I don't know if it was like money issues. That's the only reason I could assume you would do something like that. But I hope Smokes is okay. That just like really blows because I love that stuff. I like 70s style things, says Alpha. I go back without the gang violence. Do I like 70s style things? Do I like anything? I don't know. I like everything. I can't think of an era, I guess. Um, I'm not super fond of modern architecture, like the really like Spartan geometric, like everything looks like cubes and blocks and stuff like that. I don't love that, but I might only not love it because I'm existing in the time where it's happening. That could be a thing, so I'm going to withhold most of my vitriol for that type of architecture. But I kind of just like anytime somebody's like, "This is a '70s style home," I'm like, "That's cool," and they show me like an '80s style home, and I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty dope too." And then like somebody's like, "Oh, '90s fashion," and I'm like, "Haha, yeah, that's sick." There's not too many eras of things that I look at and go like, "Oh, what were they thinking? That was so bad." Not too many. Um, Remember '90s Taco Bell? The interesting thing, Alpha, about '90s Taco Bell is a lot of Taco Bells here in Arizona still have that interior design with like all the weird like neon triangles and like colors and shapes. Also, a lot of movie theaters in Arizona and in Los Angeles still have that design. Also, if you're riding the red line or the purple line in Los Angeles and you get off on the it's not first and Hill. What stop is that actually? What stop is that? Not Hollywood and Highland. Oh, there's a stop that you can get off on. It's escaping me right now, but there's a stop that does like you literally get off of it and it looks like a '90s Taco Bell. There's like a lot of like teal triangles and like pink circles and like weird like confetti type paint. I just haven't ridden the subway in so long because I haven't had anywhere to be, and so my memory is melting. Isn't that sad? Anyways, 60 style is dope, says Umbe. I mean, my existence wouldn't be appreciated then, but it's not so different nowadays. Word up, Umbe. I remember the water coin drop things Taco Bell had, and you could get like a free taco. Water coin drop. Hmm. I follow this Twitter account that posts highlights from the Our Relationship subreddit, and recently, says Lindsay, there is a woman whose husband decorated his office with '90s Taco Bell furniture. Word up, that sounds fun. Sounds fun. The mall in Stranger Things looked amazing. I miss malls. You know what's weird, Alpha? That's one of the things. Like, okay, hold on. Hold on. Are you familiar with the company Westcore Alpha? It doesn't really matter. Westcore Alpha sounds like a military term, by the way, but Alpha, there's this company called Westcore that owns a lot of the malls. Um, it doesn't matter. Just everybody knows that most malls and most metropolitan areas are owned by the same like 3 to 5 companies. But malls used to have a very specific identity, and this is not nostalgia. This is not what I'm doing. I'm not saying malls were so great, but what I'm saying is malls definitely had very strong identity outside of the stores, right? Like if you took out the Wetzel's Pretzels, you took out the Sam Goody or whatever was in your mall when you were growing up. It still had a look. The mall still had a specific design. Things were painted a certain way. Certain plants were put in the mall. It was an interesting visual thing. I'm trying not to use the word aesthetic, but it was a thing. And I think as malls have died, they have kind of left that a little bit. For the most part, you can still go into a mall that definitely has an identity. A good example of one is the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, or the what's it called? The Grove, also in Los Angeles. That's where the Ellen Show is shot. Also, the Americana has an identity, which is pretty similar to that of the Grove, so maybe not so much. But point is, they used to have a very specific identity, and the same thing with movie theaters. And something I'm noticing more now is less specific identity put into a thing. Um, like all movie theaters, regardless of who owned them, they all kind of have the same look. And now movie theaters, it's like they're not putting that much into it. It's like let's just put up a big uh, sculpture that looks like a roll of film, and it'll have like screenshots from I don't know some John Wayne movie and 007 and Grease and King Kong and whatever else is considered a great American film. And then I guess not even American 007 isn't, but what point is like that's what movie theaters kind of turned into, and that's what malls turned into. And you talk about the mall in Stranger Things, and something that's really cool about that is when I remember looking at that scene for I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? Star View Mall or something like that. It doesn't really matter. If you remember the name of it, like kudos to you. But I remember looking at that whole set and thinking like, wow, this is very accurate to what like malls look like. And not only that, it was there are a few malls in again Arizona and Los Angeles that still look like that. Now the malls themselves are dying, and they're kind of sad to walk through, but they still have that look, and you can still walk through them, and they haven't updated anything, and it's actually kind of nice. There's this mall in Northern California called Valco Mall, and it was a mall that I think there was like it was huge, by the way, and I think there was a grand total of like 7 to 10 stores open in the entire mall, which is hilarious because like you would walk through and just hear nothing. It would be nothing. It was actually kind of creepy, but me and my friends went there a few times. I actually got a few of my button ups from that mall because since most of the stores were going out of business, they were like dirt cheap. But yeah, malls are definitely one of those things that we're getting rid of them. They're dying, and I can't wait to tell people about malls. If you ever have a second, maybe look up a documentary on malls. I don't know where a reliable one is, but I've seen a few, and it kind of talks about why malls were made and how it was definitely a money thing and more of a real estate thing. But it was like it was easy to. Malls are kind of shady. I'll just put it that way. Malls are really shady, and building a mall wasn't necessarily to benefit the people around it. It was like an easy way to kind of like hide money. But I think Adam Ruins Everything actually has a really good video on malls, but definitely look it up if you're ever curious about it. But yeah, malls are dying, and they were really cool, and the Stranger Things mall was really dope. The mall in Georgia, that mall is in Georgia actually, says Cyber, talking about the Stranger Things mall. They added a bunch of neon lights and stuff for a show, but it looks mostly the same. But it's actually really cool. Not to belabor the point, but malls were a failed social experiment to try and capitalize on the areas of people who used to hang out in the past before suburbs became popular. Mmm. Yeah. Ah. Suburbs. I don't want to talk about suburbs. I don't want to, technically, I'm in one right now. They recently closed the Northgate Mall by my old house, which was one of the very first malls to be built. Well, that's sad. RIP to a relic, a fossil, a legend. Alpha says, I don't know if you've heard of the Domain. It's a cool shopping district in Austin where apartments and stores are in the same building and they're basically new malls. And I like hanging there a lot, says Alpha. I haven't heard of that. Um, but that's the way the malls are in LA too right now, where it's like apartment buildings, like living spaces are built into it and it's like open. It's like it's weird. It's weird. I don't hate it. I think that it's a cool, smart, and natural evolution of the mall where it's like, hey, wouldn't you like to live at the mall? And it'll be all open air. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I always wonder how much those apartments must cost when I'm like walking, by a pretzel stand and I look up and I see some very fancy looking loft spaces. Oh, Alpha says it's pricey. Never mind. One girl said Beyonce was at her store once and she saw Meek Mill a few years back. We all saw Meek Mill a few years back. This song that I'm about to play is not on any release. Not on any release. It's not on singles. I don't know if it'll ever come out on anything because it's unnamed. It doesn't have a title. Something really funny about velocity sensitive keys is just barely tapping a note makes a very loud sound. So naturally on a piano, people are constantly hitting notes that make no sound. You'll gradually graze over some keys to get to another key. And on a real piano or on a weight sensitive keyboard, those notes don't make a sound because they're barely being hit. But on a keyboard like this, it's like a fly could land on it and it'll make a sound. Alpha says they watered down their juice a lot. Word up. I would say Jotter. Maddie, because I feel like it has a stronger beginning. Woos. Actually, Woos, now that I'm saying it out loud, sounds okay. Oof. Okay. He says, I can't remember if I told y'all, but my roommate who has crippling addiction to sparkling water. Alpha drank their ex roommate's beer and it's pretty strong. Took me last night and the night before to finish a can. Wow. It's a long time. It's like 50%. I guess that's a lot because I don't drink, says Alpha. Um, um, Word. Here's the thing. I don't really care about sparkling water. But I remember I had a friend who now works at Discord. Congratulations, friend. And her boyfriend at the time was obsessed with Topo Chico. So obsessed with Topo Chico that they would order it by the crate. And they kept Topo Chico bottles and they actually lined the, I don't know what you call that, the top of the wall. Like there was a shelf that ran along the room and they had it lined with Topo Chico bottles. And it was a cool like decoration, I guess, but I was like, oh, wow, you love Topo Chico. For those of you guys that don't know Topo Chico, it's just like mineral water that comes in a glass bottle. But when I went to Texas several times to perform at South by Southwest, I also noticed Topo Chico everywhere there because that's where it's bottled. And so I started drinking it. And I kind of got into this weird thing where I started drinking it more often than even they were. And it was like, I didn't necessarily like it. It was just, I don't know what that was. It was like a weird phase thing, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not a huge fan of like sparkling water, mineral water, club soda, like things like that. I don't really like those things. I don't know what's happened to me, but tea is like really, other than water and my fruit smoothie in the morning, I feel like the only thing I drink is teas, a variety of different teas. Oh, and Calpis now. I drink I drink that, the Calpico baby. Potato Gaming says I don't like alcohol. When I was a kid, I wondered why adults like that stuff. It's still a mystery to this day. I get why people like alcohol, gaming, but I don't drink. But I don't drink. I'm like you. I don't drink, but I understand why people do it. Anywho, try the sweet alcoholic drink says Umbe. Tasty stuff. Don't know why people want to drink raw isopropyl alcohol drinks. I guess that same thing could be said about coffee, yeah. I think it's just an acquired taste. It's weird. I try to be cool. I try to be cool because I love spicy food. And I don't mean like Tabasco, a couple of dry. I mean like, I love, we've talked about Hal and Ray's. We've talked about how I've like let my friend have a bite of my meal and they've left. They like left. They're gone now. Um, because because I don't mess around with spice. Like I like the big spice. I like the spice that like people are like, oh, like when I go into a restaurant and they have the spicy thing and then they have the spicier thing and I just order it and they kind of give me this look like, hey, maybe you might want to try this one first. We can bring out like a sample and I'm like, nah, just give me the thing. Like that's usually the spice level that I like. So I can understand somebody taking a bite and being like, how do you like this? This is just pain for me. So I try to take that same mentality towards bitter things like alcohol or coffee. People who just drink black coffee. And I'm just like, I don't know how you could eat something so bitter, but, or drink something so bitter, but I definitely eat spicy things while it's not bitter to me. I can see how that would be very, very abrasive and maybe unappetizing to a lot of people. Oh boy. There's a deli in Portland, says Maddie, called Kenny and Zook's. One of my all-time favorite places, and they have a collection of old-fashioned sodas, and I try to... Yeah, I do know that place, actually, Maddie. I know that place. It's not too far from there's a gaming studio, which, if I was at home, because I have their card on one of my wall posters, I would tell you which one, but there's a gaming studio not too far away from them that just loves their stuff. Hello, Jaime. Welcome to the stream. I'm currently in Arizona, Jaime. Sometimes on holidays with Potato Gaming, I'll have champagne or white wine. Otherwise, I don't drink. Oh, that's more drinking than even I do. I mean, I don't drink anything. I guess um, if you count like an annual kombucha, since there's technically alcohol content in those, some like very right. If you count those, then yeah. But other than kombucha, no, I'm not really drinking any alcohol. Um, boom, 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 boom. Kenny and Zooks is the place where my dad got a T-shirt that says "Body by Pastrami." Oh, that sounds like a dad shirt. Kombucha is a thing I keep hearing about, but I have no frame or reference for. Interesting, Cyber. Interesting. Um, Word up, yeah. I guess if you ever want to try it, give it a shot. It ranges, right? There's some really, really rough ones, some that are hard to keep down. Then there's some that are like, whatever, kind of just tastes like soda almost, like a weird soda. Um, I'm not sure if kombucha counts as alcohol. I was mostly being kind of tongue in cheek. Kombucha has a very, very low, but alcohol content in it because of a fermentation process. But it doesn't really count as alcohol. You can't really get drunk on kombucha. You would die before you would be able to get drunk off of it. Um, hmm. I basically never drink, social drinker, if you will, says Obey. I sometimes force myself to drink kombucha for the probiotics, but I much prefer Yakult, says Maddie. Word up. I think a lot of people probably would. Yakult's definitely a lot easier to swallow, I guess. It got less bite to it. Alpha says, my family still treats me like a kid when it comes to alcohol. Tried drinking a beer in front of my mom a while back and she freaked out. It's actually, nah, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that, but that's interesting. Alpha. Kombucha is alcoholic. Okay, Alpha and everybody in the stream. Saying kombucha is alcoholic is slightly misleading. Does kombucha have alcohol in it? Yes. In the same way that when people are like, oh, like an apple, the peel of an apple is poisonous. It's like, does it contain like a little bit of this in it? Oh, there's like cyanide in apple peels. Yes, a certain amount of it is fatal in the same way that a certain amount of kombucha it has a sizable alcoholic content because there's a fermentation process. Usually when you're fermenting stuff, think about like vodka. Vodka's alcohol comes from a fermentation process instead of like a brewing process. And kombucha is the same way. There's fermentation. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of live cultures in it, alpha. But so yeah, there is a very small alcohol content, which is why if you turn over the label and read it, it will say that there is. But you're not going to get carded for buying a bottle of kombucha, right? Because, like I said earlier, you would die before you would get drunk off the stuff. That amount of like acid and cultures. There's too many live cultures. Too much bacteria. Yeah, there's like bacteria in it. There's like usually like floaty stuff. You're supposed to like mix that around in it. Anywho, fermented by nature, so it has alcohol. It says Lindsay's really good. Well, in my opinion, it kind of tastes like yogurt. Cold tasting like yogurt. It has alcohol like vanilla extract does. Indeed, Jesse. Indeed. So it's like saying old grape juice is alcoholic. I'm not going to open that can of worms. I'll just say yes. I'll say yes. It's like saying old grape juice is alcoholic. Whoa, I am getting hit up a lot. Back in the day, my mom used to pack my lunch in elementary school. Sometimes she would put in orange juice as a drink, and sometimes I forget to finish it, and it would sit in my backpack overnight, says Cyber. I found out about the alcohol the next day when it exploded in my backpack. Indeed. Yeah. The bacteria chunks creep me out. In kombucha, says Lindsay. Yeah, it can be kind of weird, I guess. Potato Gaming lost service for a bit. Welcome back, Potato Gaming. This song is called Signals. don't sound good with even temperament. Potato Gaming says this song is so much better watching you play it. It is slightly different. I play it different. A lot of articulations are slightly changed. For example, in the recording version, it goes. And I've added more rhythm to the live version because I don't have a drum set. Hello, Momtown Tokyo. Welcome to the stream. Hope you've had a good Wednesday morning so far. Hope you've had a good Wednesday morning so far. I had a friend who I actually messaged since I've been in town. They were really cool. We were like pretty good friends in junior high and high school. God, I just didn't understand what was happening. You know when you show up to a new school and you're not exactly sure who's cool and who's not? So somebody talks to you and you're just like, well, thanks for talking to me. I don't know what your social standing is in this school, but I'm glad that somebody cares. Kind of didn't know where he stood, but he ended up being my friend until we weren't really close anymore. And I hit him up, or I sent him a message since I've been back here because he seems like he still lives here. But what was I about to say? I don't even know where I was going with this, honestly. Man, I don't know where I was going with this. Song sounds better when performed. I do perform it a little bit different. Give it some gusto. But yeah, I haven't hung out with any like old friends since I've been back home. I feel kind of weird like hitting up anybody because like during quarantine, like people aren't exactly supposed to be like hanging out anyway. But I did send them a message to see if they were okay and if everything was going good with them. But it's weird. Yeah, I haven't seen them since even longer than before I moved because we technically stopped hanging out before I moved. Before I moved out of here, this is weird. Being in Arizona is really strange. This song is called "Around the Pond." Should I play it higher? Holy crap. Oh, it doesn't go that low. bothered saying parties on Snapchat, says Alpha. Talking about their friends who haven't hit them at all. Hit them up at all. Word, word, word. Wow, we're already at 1:30? That feels good. That feels really good, by the way. That's something I wrote for a thing I'm not allowed to talk about. So that's actually a commission. That song. Word up, word up, word up. Okay, that's my new real name. Cyber's talking about COVID parties. Facts don't care about real names. This is true, Cyber. Um, this one girl does nothing but parties, says Alpha talking about. This weekend she posted a video of her brother's house after it was burned down halfway. And the next day she was at a lake party. You know what? You know what, Alpha? I don't want to make this a topic of conversation, but during quarantine, I have been looking at a few people's stories. There's 5 people's stories that I've been looking at. 2 boys and 3 girls. They're just always at the beginning of my Instagram story reel, and I don't spend that much time on Instagram right now, so I don't really look at everybody's. And I will say, there are so many things I wish I could unsee about some people that I truly liked or unread. It's just like, I don't know why people just put. I feel like there's like this really weird. You should never shame anybody for anything. Oh, it's got stuck again. You should never. Well, I take that back immediately. Some things are shameful, right? Maybe some people should be ashamed of things. But I think there's a weird fine line between maybe seeing something or hearing something or knowing something that isn't across the board shameful, but you personally are kind of like, I wish I hadn't seen that though, because now it's just going to be really hard for me to unknow that thing that you decided to put up everywhere. I feel that a lot, and especially with quarantine, because I feel like people are just bored out of their minds, so they're just posting like a lot. It's just like, man, that's like, I kind of want to go back, like, for example, okay, there are a few artists. Let me just rattle off a few artists. Artist number 1. Guys, I talk about the same like 10 artists all the time. Artist number 1. Frederick Robinson. I love Frederick Robinson. I love that. I love that man's music. Do I like him? I don't know. I haven't really had a real conversation with him, but I love his music. Frederick Robinson is dope. But I know if somebody played me a Frederick Robinson song, I'd be like, oh, I know that song. I know maybe all of this man's released music, but I have never felt compelled to look up his social media and see if it exists for one, and two, to actually listen to it. You know, like, I mean, to like look at it, read it, listen to it, look at it, you know. I haven't really felt the need to dig in there. So I just, all I know about the man is his music. Another good example is Vincent, who did the soundtrack to Sky, actually. Sky, Children of like the game that I'm playing right now on mobile. Amazing soundtrack. And I like tweeted at him like 2 days ago, and I was just like, hey, "Yo, man, like dope soundtrack. I really like the woodwind movements and like this stage." And he was like, "Yo, thanks a lot." I don't remember the exact tweet verbatim, but he like liked the tweet and then thanked me and then followed me. And I was like, "Oh, you didn't have to follow me," but I followed him back, and it was nice. It was really cool interaction. But it was like, I don't know any context of that man and what his social media presence is like. You know, I don't really know anything about him. I just knew his music, and I feel like so many people. There's one artist that I will not say her name. I will not say her name, but I like her a lot, which sucks because I would like to be able to say her name to promote her, but and I will at a different time, but outside of this specific conversation. But it's like, man, I like followed her on stuff, and I was like, oh, she seems really cool, and it's like, holy crap, is this like, what a messy and upsetting individual? Oh wow, some people live like children, and it's scary. It's very scary. Anywho, I saw some stuff I didn't want to see, and so Alpha talking about like seeing like homegirl at parties all the time. It's like, yeah, I just like you ever follow somebody's social media? And granted, social media is not a look into some. This is a beautiful sound, by the way, but it's not a look into someone's life all the time. For example, I have a friend who I also won't name because they're also an artist who used to like. She's really. I'm not gonna say anything mean. Anyways, she messages me sometimes. She's like, "Oh my God, you need to eat something healthy. You're eating pizza every day. How are you not done yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't eat pizza every day. But if you follow my Instagram and maybe like you, I don't know, see like a pizza post, and then 10 days later you see another pizza post. I'm not posting every single meal I eat. I'm not one of those people. And I know that there are people like that, and no offense to those people, that's dope. I know that the compelling nature of taking pictures of food, especially if the food looks good. But I don't post every single thing I eat. I don't post every day when I wake up and I'm making a smoothie. I don't post that. I mean, you guys see it in the stream sometimes, but that's not on my Instagram story. But yeah, if I like go to like a cool like curry place, maybe I'll take like a picture of that. If I order pizza or something, maybe I'll take a picture of that. Maybe I'll take a picture of like a weird Japanese candy I'm eating or something like that. And so there definitely are some people that have concluded from my social media that the only two things I do is eat out and make music, which is like, yeah, I do a lot of other stuff. So, outside of that, I understand that a look in someone's social media, their Instagram story, is not exactly a comprehensive look at what their life is like. But some people's social media, I'm just saying, it paints an awful picture. It paints an awful picture of what their life and the choices that they make. And Alpha, when you said that about homegirl at parties all the time, that is like that's all I can think about. Because yeah, I understand. I understand. Maybe I follow somebody and they're not messy all the time. In the same way that I post when I'm eating pizza, or I'll post, especially in quarantine. I think if you looked at like my stories, you're just like, homie just watches TV, eats the same thing. Somebody sent me a thing a while ago on Instagram that was like, yo, why do you eat pancakes every day? Like, why do you eat so much pancakes? How can you eat so much pancakes? Now, I'm not necessarily like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the fact that the picture they were commenting on was not a picture of a pancake, and I don't eat a lot of pancakes. But I remember seeing that comment and thinking, I actually switch it up a lot. Like some mornings I'll have waffles, some mornings I'll have like my breakfast sandwich, with the pretzel bread and the bacon, spinach, lettuce, or tomatoes, eggs, and stuff. Some days I'll do the French toast. Some day like I even had breakfast burrito. Remember in the stream when I was eating that burrito, I had to like delay the stream because I was eating a burrito. I make a wide variety of things, but if I don't post every single thing I'm eating and somebody sees a waffle twice, they might go, homeboy, you eat pancakes every day. And so I understand. I understand. But there are some pretty messy images painted by people's social media for sure. Potato wants to curry ramen now. Ooh, it's gonna be hard for me to get that here in Arizona. I'm gonna have to wait till I get back to LA to really dig into Asian food. Um, I rarely post anything, says Mobtown Tokyo. Just things that I think are funny or interesting. Word. Waffles or pancakes, man. I've determined there's two very different kinds of social media accounts. There's this is me as a person account, and there's this is my business account. Yeah, I don't even think that's just necessarily a thing that you determine. I think that that is a thing that us on social media all can like agree with. There are performative accounts, then there are lifestyle accounts. And this account, I don't run a lifestyle account. All of my accounts are performative. Maybe this is upsetting maybe to somebody in the stream. Maybe it's not. All of my accounts have Omniboy on them. None of my accounts say Omni Rutledge. None of my accounts are personal. I use them to share music and entertaining ideas and occasionally information. But I'm not really using them to like divulge personal information or talk about like things that I'm going through. That's not necessarily what they're typically for. Sometimes I will explain if there's been like a break in music. I'm like, hey, I'm going through it, so no music for a while. But a lot of people will have lifestyle accounts where it's like, this is my personal account. I'm going to divulge everything here, and that is not a thing that I have. I have a like really maybe weird and polarizing take on personal accounts or private accounts or whatever. Anywho, I have a personal music account on IG and only music on Twitter. I have a personal music account on IG. Word up, Mocktown. My Twitter is basically a repost account. I feel that. Hey, what's up, Eddie? Big lifestyle accounts, says Cypher. I only use Twitter for memes, says Potato. I don't like social media, says Eddie. I apologize, social media is bad, but here we are. It's too intrusive, says Eddie. I think that having private... no, because people in the stream probably have private accounts. I'm not saying that anybody who has a private account is stupid or anything, but private accounts don't make sense to me. No, let me take that back. Because if you have an account and that's your only account and it's private, I totally get that. Protect yourself. But I don't necessarily understand people that are like, this is my public account and this is my Finsta account, or this is like, I never understand that. I think that if something truly is like private, why put it on the internet at all? The internet is a... Why put it on the internet at all? I journal. Like, I have like a journal. Like, if there is like ideas I do need to get out, private, I'll like put them in there. But putting it on the internet feels weird. Because like, people... I had never been one to raise my hand and talk in school and sharing my thoughts to everyone. It's kind of against my nature. I feel that, Liana. I feel you on that. I think I'm gonna slam private Twitters. I'll slam private Twitters and private accounts later in a different thing. Or like Finstas, or like, oh my god, did you see what they tweeted on private? Like people like that. I have a private account because I didn't want to. Wait. Okay, let me back up, Eddie. I have a private account because I don't want people I don't know to follow it. My other account is my art account. That's different. That's different to me. That's different to me, Eddie. I didn't understand Finstas until I wanted to share some of my more personal stuff with people without sending things directly to them. I guess that's where I lie on the more polarizing side, Lindsay, because I just have such a small group of trusted people. Super small. Most people are like, I got my close friend. Like, I have like, my close friends is like, not even a list. And so if I do have something I want to tell those people, it's not a real big problem for me to say it to them directly because it would take 2 seconds. But for people that are like, here's my private account where there's like, I don't know, 14 followers, and I would like for these 14 people to know about like this private information. I'm like, I don't really have that. So I don't have the need of a personal Instagram or personal Twitter because I just text those people. I'll just like line message them if like I do want them to know about something. But if I don't want them to know about something, then I won't. Oh, obligated to respond. That's kind of funny. I'm just saying, there's so many times where I have been chilling, minding my own business, and somebody's came to me and they said, "Oh, I don't know. I think so and so's going through it. Do you see what they posted on their private?" And they'll like tell me what they posted on their private. I'm like, I feel like this is like defeating the point of that thing being private. Why is that thing even on the internet? Because you can't trust anybody. Rule number one: never trust anybody. Eddie says my Twitter isn't private. I just don't reveal my identity. Ooh. Ooh, is your profile picture of a car? Is your profile picture like what it is here, Eddie? Or it's just kind of like, is it like an egg? Or like a Twitter egg? Oh, I guess if you tell me, it'll be easier to find you, but I'm not going to try to find you, Eddie. I respect you and your privacy. Um, the only purpose of a private Twitter that I know about is to complain about stuff and also post racy images. Cyber, I love you so much. Because yeah, I mean the only I'm not saying that this is you, Lindsay. I'm definitely not saying this is you. But everybody that I know that's a private Twitter, all they use it for is to like whine and complain. And I'm like, why don't you just text your friends and whine and complain? I mean, that's also cool. Why whine and complain to the void? There's just ways to see things. I don't know. I guess I'm on the like always looking over my shoulder. I don't trust anybody with anything. And I know that if I post something on the internet, even if it's on a private account, there are still ways for people that want to find out about it bad enough. There's just ways, and so I don't trust. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Um, um, that's dope. Heading off now. Bye bye gaming. Bye potato. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'll get out of here soon. By the way, potato. Thanks for reminding me. I have a friend whose colleague got fired over tweets, bro. Says Eddie. He was complaining about his boss, but without even telling the boss's name or company they were working for. It's sketchy. Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that happens. I don't have a private account. I'm not even saying that to like hide my private account. All of my accounts, you guys know about them. It's like I got my Omniboy Twitter, I got my Omniboy Instagram, I got my Omniboy line account, which is not private. It's very easy to find. I have the Facebook, the YouTube. I've got all those. Um, but as far as like private accounts, I I would say that my private account is like my apartment. I do not speak and hang out in the same way that I tweet. I don't think so anyway. I also feel like even in this stream, I don't alter my behavior too much for the stream. I would say that I'm very careful though. I'm very careful to not. I mean, this is just the thing with friends, right? Like, I feel like I know you guys pretty well, but still, things can be taken out of context, and this is a this is a video, right? So somebody could like snap the video of me going like screw so and so, and then like just play that, maybe post that to Twitter, and then it could be a whole bunch of like cleanup that I have to do. So I am very careful in the stream, but it would be very different if like maybe me and Cyber were hanging out one on one. I do think that because of my upbringing and the people that I spent time around in my earlier years, both family and friends and classmates and stuff like that, I think that there's more of like a roast culture built in, especially in like black communities. So I'm a little bit meaner. It comes off as mean, but I like am pretty mean, quote unquote, to my friends. Like where there's like a lot of insults and like ribbing and teasing being thrown around. But in the stream, I'm very, very careful about that because I know that, you guys don't know me personally, and I don't know you guys like that, and so I don't want to accidentally hurt anybody's feelings. But I've definitely like been in the stream where somebody's known me through my music and then like hung out with me in person. They're like, "Hey, Omni, I'm in LA for spring break," which I'm probably gonna stop doing soon. By the way, I used to just do this thing where if any random fan like messaged me and I actually read it and they saw that I read it, like they got a read receipt, I would just hang out with them because I felt bad. I felt bad, and they're like really nice people. They're typically really nice. I don't think I've ever had like a rude fan hangout, but they're just like, "Hey, I'm in LA. You want to get boba or something? I'll go get boba with them." And they're just like, "Yo, you're meaner than I thought you were." I directed that at them. It's usually just me like making fun of things. But yeah, I'm very careful about that in the stream because it's a video platform. But usually in person, stuff like that. I'm not like saying like a bunch of racist stuff or anything like that, but there is more of like a ribbing. Anybody familiar with the term ribbing? Roasting ribbing. I feel like white people say ribbing more than they say roasting. Okay, I deleted my Facebook account because family and Karens. Mmm. Mm. Some people's family are Karens, Mobtown. I would cry if that happened, said Jaime. Aw. This reminds me of the trash heart discussion, says Jesse. Does it? How come? I don't like to share on social media, says Eddie, because I feel like if you need to know about me, just ask me. I know a lot of people aren't aware that I am not in France anymore. Oh, snap. That's pretty dope. Omni definitely seems like the roast type, says Umbe. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it because I am the roast type. Um, I think I think that is the one big difference, right? Like there's a sense of performative identity, but I've had a few people that have actually been disappointed at how consistent the identity was. I've had a few people, some kind of like, actually, I'm not like a little bit disappointed in those people, if I'm being honest. But there's been people that have like specifically sought me out to hang out with me, or to be around me because they thought that they were gonna get some like cool new layer. But no, it's just this. It's just this all the time. The clothes that I wear in the stream are the clothes typically you're gonna see me in around my house. Stuff I talk about in the stream is the stuff that I talk about in person. Um, yeah, all that stuff's the same. Um, there are a couple of points in the stream where it comes out. It seems like he's actually a bit darker. Wants to always present to the stream. Ugh. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to. It's the opposite. I'm definitely a darker person, though. I think that's pretty evident in my lyrical choices. I think. But yeah, I think it shows that, like we talked about earlier. I think it might have been you, Jesse, that made that point where it's like people say separate the art from the artist, but they're not exactly aware of how much of the artist is in their art. I think that a lot of me being a darker or even roasty, for example, me referring to my ex as a cow and amnesia, had, that's me. That was like me coming out. I'm not going around calling people cows now, but but I was very upset, and an insult was thrown, and I think that it's hard. It's hard, right? Because the stream, again, it's just a video platform. If this wasn't a video platform, no, I'd still be like this, but the video platform doesn't help for sure. I roast people too much, says Mobtown Tokyo. People can't tell via social media. This is fair. Disappointed by consistency, says Jaime. Shake my head. I feel that's satisfying. Yeah, no, people. No, I mean, Jaime, you're making a very good point, but you know the type of people that I'm talking about. The type of people that are like, I want to get close to this person so I can know the other side of them. And that will make me more special than, I guess, everybody else. Like, oh, I know Omni's special joke. I don't know. Really stupid stuff like that. You know the type of person I'm talking about, Jaime. Why would YouTube block that? Says Cyber to Leona's comment. A lot of people be disappointed in that. Drastically different than private. Acronyms with enough letters get blocked. That makes sense. Maybe because it looks like a keyboard smash. Maybe keyboard smashes are being blocked. Oh boy. But yeah. Point is, I'm kind of just like this all the time, and a lot of like not swearing or not drinking or like people are like, that's an act. That's like an act for the stream's benefit, so that I don't offend anybody. I just actually don't swear, even in like my most comfortable. It's just not. It's just like not a thing I do. But um, I will say that I do roast things. I do roast things, and I think that that comes out in my music. Amnesia isn't the only time I've insulted somebody in a song. Um, Also, yeah, things being darker. I'm not a very like bubbly, happy person. I actually don't think I ever was. But my music sonically was for a really long time, and so that misled a lot of people to think that I was like this super like making jokes and dancing all the time. And it's like not at all. I don't know where I'm from, says Cyber. I poke fun at my friends all the time, but if someone says, "Hey, stop," I'm totally cognizant of that and I quit doing it. For sure, for sure, for sure. Cyber. You got the corduroy pants on today, says Eddie. You trying to pack a church girl? Yeah, that's awesome. Yo, okay, so I had a pair of corduroy pants that my mom got me from Ross a long time ago, actually. Also, a corduroy jacket that had like fur on the inside. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I got roasted a lot for wearing corduroy. Beginning of story, end of story. So I feel like people have been disappointed with that a lot in the past. Also, I think that because of videos like Omniclaws or even some of the quarantines, people just think that I'm dancing all the time. I'm not dancing all the time. I'm very rarely dancing, if I'm being honest. I can. Something has to have gone very, very well in my life for me to be dancing, especially in 2020. Oh boy. Um, just a little weird bit of trivia about that corduroy jacket, Mocktown Tokyo. At a certain point, it did rip, so that there is a, when like a cheaper jacket rips and you can reach your hand into the inseam now, like between the lining of the jacket. I used to wear that jacket to school, and we weren't allowed to bring candy into class. And what I used to do is I would hide the candy in the lining of my jacket because a lot of times the teachers would check your pockets, and so I would hide it in between the lining of the jacket. Then I would have it out for the homies. So, R.I.P. to that dope corduroy jacket. We roast each other a lot, but we always keep in mind that we compliment each other because sometimes honest love is important between friends to balance, There is a friend of mine who I won't mention in the stream. She comes to hang out every now and then. I haven't seen her in a while though now because who's seen anybody in a while now? And I like relentlessly roast her, and then I always am like really really nice. I like the little Sour Patch Kids, just because I do feel bad. There's a certain point she takes it in stride so well, or after a certain point I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'll like make her a really nice food or something. Or she's really cool. It's just she is like some people like me. I'm an easy target. If I go to a comedy show where somebody does a lot of crowd work and I sit up front with this hair, these glasses, these gloves, a bow tie, a button up, and chinos, I'm an easy 10 minutes for the comedian on stage. And so I usually sit off towards the back. And this particular friend of mine is just an easy target specifically for me. She says the wildest things. She says the wildest, honest things. When somebody like comes in, I mean, people say that there's no stupid questions, but when somebody says a stupid question, somebody's like, wait, do they not get paid for that? Like, I feel like, especially knowing a lot of the grittier, nastier parts of the music industry, somebody sometimes will say like a very honest, well-meaning question. They're like, wait, BTS doesn't write their own song? Hold on now. They don't write their own song? Then who does? And it's just like, you have to like keep all the composure from just like exploding and like laughing and being like, what is wrong with you? You can't do that. But she does a lot of those. She asks a lot of like wild questions like that. But like, if he wrote the song, how come he's not getting paid? Or like, what? You don't get. Yeah. How much money is Spotify pay? They don't pay you that? How come then? Just like a lot of wild ignorance. Anyways, you should have seen me 2-3 years ago with my scene emo haircuts. Says Mob Town. Dang. Everyone have a Whispering Wednesday, says Maddie. Oh, thanks, Maddie. Bye, Maddie. Whispering Wednesday. I'll have to take some time to interpret that. I'm very content with being an easy target because I need to be roasted. I need it, says Lindsay. Interesting. Here's the problem. Here's my problem. And I even had this as a kid. I even had this as a kid. I even have this in physical ways. Like if I'm fighting somebody, if even because like friends fight. Well, I don't know about you guys, but me and my friends, we just like beat each other up all the time. That was just you know, you beat each other up, and then you get better at fighting, and that way when somebody's trying to jump you, you can hold your own. So you like fight each other all the time. And I had an issue with fighting sometimes where it was like, if somebody hit me, I like had to even. I had to even it out. If like somebody hit me and then something happened, my brain was like, no, we gotta even this out before we go on about what we're gonna do. And I feel like this really funny thing happens sometimes with roasting, or when somebody says something about me, I have the ammo that's like not fair to use. It's like we're playing paintball and I have like live rounds, and it's like somebody says something mean to me and I know something about them, I can like really like I can clean them out, I can gut them like a fish, but I can't say that because that's not fun. That ruins it. So I just take the roast because if I say something to them that's not as strong as their roast to me, then I've lost the roast battle. But the only way for me to win is by destroying them. So I feel like a lot of friends, a lot of my friends here specifically, like in Arizona, they think that I go too hard sometimes, and so now I'm just quiet. People will like say like really like wild stuff to me, like make fun of my glasses, and I'm like word. There is a oh man, I feel like though you have to know. It's like the whole like glass houses don't throw rocks. I feel like if you know that the other person can like mess you up, you just it's like if somebody's really big, you don't start a fight with them. If you know this person like carries a knife on them, maybe don't like shove them. I feel like sometimes people will like pick at me and it's like, oh man, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You're putting yourself in a weird position right now. I've accused or been accused of accidentally roasting people, but I am merely a truth teller. I do both at the same time, says Mobtown. It's hard. People don't practice being self-depreciating enough. Yeah. I've been in those situations a lot when dealing with ladies, says Eddie. It's rough. It's rough. I let people get away with so much because I don't want to I don't want to really go in. I don't really want to go in on them. Also, oh my god, since we're talking about roasting, I'll say this, and then we do need to move out of roasting, guys, because we're at 2 now. We're at 2 hours. I remember exactly where I was. I was I was on the corner of Alameda. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter where I was. You guys don't live in LA, so me painting the picture doesn't mean anything. Point is, I was in Little Tokyo. If you don't know where Little Tokyo is, or you haven't been there a lot, Jaime's been there, I believe. Yes, Jaime's been there, so Jaime kind of knows. But if you go to Little Tokyo in the height of Little Tokyo, not during quarantine, um, it's who hangs out in Little Tokyo? Well, Japanese people, because Little Tokyo is mostly Japanese people living there. Um, and then the second group of people is like a lot of like Lolita fashion cosplay people, people that are just cosplaying for the sake of cosplay. And then like hype beasts. I say that with a question mark because yes, they are beasts of hype, but not your typical hype beasts, like weird hype beasts that aren't even wearing cool things. They're just wearing things that look slightly inspired by Japan. Yeah, like weebs that think they have style, Eddie. You get what I'm saying. Anyways, Jaime says Fickle Wish is closing down, and that broke my heart. Yeah, 3 of my friends work there, so I'm more so brokenhearted for my friends that just lost their jobs. But yeah, it also is sad to have that shop go. For anybody in the stream that doesn't know, Fickle Wish is a J fashion store that exists in, or existed rather, in Little Tokyo, and like the hub of it. Um, And there was a dude there, and he said something. I can't even remember what he said to me. I can't remember what he said to me. That's how unimportant the thing was. He said something like slightly mean to me. Maybe it was about my gloves. Maybe it was about my glasses. Maybe it was about my hair. Maybe it was about my skin color. I don't remember what it was about. But it was like a bunch of like weeby hype beasts. It was like 7 or so of them, and he said something very tame to me. Very tame. Obviously, it was tame if I can't even remember. It didn't leave an impression on me. And I told him that he had a chin like Bob's Burgers, and all of his friends reacted as if I had shot him, like with a shotgun in the stomach. They were like screaming. He did have a very weak chin. It's not that important. It's not that important that he had a weak chin. It doesn't matter. But I said that, and they all reacted as if I had like shot this man. And what was a very, very small insult became this like I felt bad. I was just like, oh dang, I didn't know it was like that serious. Like I don't know if he's self-conscious about having a weak chin. I don't know, grow a beard. I didn't want to say anything weird afterwards, so I just walked away. But sometimes the environment will make a roast way worse than it actually is. A crowd reacting to an insult like hurts me. I don't like when a crowd reacts to my insult because I didn't want it to have that much of a sting. Like, anyways, don't insult people if you have a weak chin. Don't punch people also if you have a weak chin. Jaime says, people that worked there were always cool, but I loved picking up stickers there, always. Glad I got to visit it one more time. I'm glad you got to visit it too before it died, Jaime. I've gotten several shirts from there. Also, a weird bit of like self-aggrandizement or ego. Ficklewish constantly played my music. Even when I would just walk by, I would usually hear like old like Nice Dream stuff coming out of that store. So, um, I mean, they were supporters, and so I'm sad. I'm sad that they're going away. Okay. He's sensitive about his chin. Says Mom Town. You know what's really stupid? Also, is that's not even a good That's an on the insult. I would say stuff like that all the time. I remember somebody. I took that from somebody when I was a kid. You don't tell somebody that they have a You don't tell somebody they look like a person. You tell somebody that they look like a thing. Telling somebody that they look like Walmart. Telling somebody that like their face looks like Arby's is always vague enough and somehow still insulting. And telling somebody that they have a chin like Bob's Burgers, it's like Bob's Burgers isn't a person. But the illustrator that draws all the characters in Bob's Burgers tends to draw the characters with very weak chins for whatever reason. And so saying you have a chin like Bob's Burgers still carries an insult, but it's not a very big one. I don't know why everybody reacted like that. Anyways, Umi says having confidence in yourself is something a lot of people don't have. Those people also tend to have the habit of punching up with their roast. R.I.P. Yeah. Those are all actual insults. Those aren't random things. I have told somebody that their face looked like Arby's, and they knew exactly what I meant. They knew just what I meant. Even I knew what I meant, even though I don't know exactly how to explain that. They look like Arby's. Speaking of fast food, I got Whataburger finally yesterday. Felt good, man. Looking like a gas station right now. Yeah, see, these are good insults. Those are the type of insults I throw out in roast when I don't want to hurt the person that I'm roasting. Because usually, especially if it's just friends, I'll have the live rounds. But it's like, nah, let me just tell homie that he looks like Sonic. Let me move it right along. Okay, what do you get at Whataburger, homie? Bacon cheeseburger or large fry? With no mustard. They like drown their burgers in mustard. I don't know why they do that. Anyways, I don't know if I donate to the GoFundMe for the employees. I don't know them that well, says Liana. One of the employees lives on my block, actually. She's great. And then the other one of the employees, Johnny, does not live on my block, but I hang out with him a lot. And one of the other employees actually organized. Anyway, I don't need to talk about these people. I do know them personally. I don't know that I'm throwing money at GoFundMe's, but I'll buy them lunch if they want. I'll buy them a big lunch. I'll make them lunch. It's cheaper for me, better for them, for their body. I mean. Anyways, your Costco. uh, you know what's stupid? Oh wait, is Whataburger in California? Momtown, Tokyo. Hold on. Is Whataburger in California? Where? What? No. What? No. Can't be. Nah, can't be. What? Nah, can't be. Okay, okay, okay. Maybe it's coming, but it's not here yet. No, it can't be. No, I just searched. Unless you get back to me, I think maybe they're building it. Maybe they're building it. But I cannot currently get a Whataburger burger in Los Angeles, and their website has no California locations. But I believe you, Mobtown. Also, I believe you that Texas was making a big deal. First of all, screw Texas. I don't even like them. Second of all, there's been Whataburgers in Arizona since I was born, so it's not even like it's an exclusive Texas thing, and it hasn't been for decades. So, whatever, Texas. Also, I would very, very much be able to benefit from a Whataburger being in LA. It's like one of the only things that LA does not have that I have to leave to get. One of the only things. I hate it, says Mobtown, Tokyo. I don't know exactly what you're saying you hate, whether you hate Whataburger or you hate Texas, but yes to whatever you hate. Whatever you hate, I feel you. Except for Whataburger. I do like eating it. I do like eating the burger big. Oh, I hate living in Texas. Word up, word up, word up. I believe it. Um, I would very much like that. The only things that I don't have in LA that I need um, is Whataburger, Waffle House. I would like to have a Sonic. Don't need a Sonic, but I would like to have one. It would be convenient. But Whataburger, Waffle House, and this is a very weird, stupid, specific one that we'll never get. But there's a burger chain in Seattle called Dick's that I love, and it's just it's nowhere but Seattle, so that's sad. But yeah, LA doesn't have Waffle House or Whataburger, and those are like the two things I love. Sonic sucks. I'm sorry. You're right, Liana. Sonic does suck. You'll get no argument from me. The food at Sonic is subpar at best. Sometimes it's just lukewarm, and I'm like, it's fresh. I just ordered it. Why is it lukewarm? The food's not good. The food's just connected to my childhood, and so um, sometimes I just like it out of a weird like nostalgia thing where it's like, oh, remember these? Mostly I like the drinks at Sonic though, if I'm being honest, Liana. I go to Sonic for the drinks. Occasionally I'll get like some fries or something. Um, Sonic makes bomb cheese sticks, says Momtown. Um, I got bad blood with Waffle House, man, says Jaime. That's wild, Jaime, because I can't imagine. I can't imagine that being my life. I love Waffle House. What's your local equivalent of Sonic? We've got Coney Islands here. We have Rallies in LA. There's a chain called Rallies, which literally is the same thing as Sonic. It has the whole like drive up, people in skates, The menus are pretty much the same too. It's just not the same. But it's essentially similar things. Okay, I want Nathan's in Texas, says Momtown. I miss Greeks. It's a very tasty French thing. It was way better than poutine. Word up, Eddie. Rallies Checkers? Yes, Rallies Checkers. Yes, Jesse. Rallies Checkers. Yes. Checkers Rallies. Same thing. Kind of like, what is it, Carl's Jr. and the other thing? That's not Carl's Jr. Hardee's? Carl's Jr. Hardee's, Checkers Rallies. You know how it is. Audra Jane. I couldn't remember her name. Audra Jane. Foster's Freeze used to be Kraken, but they closed a lot of locations. This is true. Same thing can be said about A&W. It was my first ever job, and I got treated bad and saw some questionable things going on, but might just be the one I worked at, says Jaime about Waffle House. No. Jaime, you are very, very valid. I'm sure working at Waffle House is horrible. I'm sure horrible things happen at the Waffle House. It's kind of like IKEA. Working at IKEA was some of the worst experiences of my life, and it's a horribly ran company as far as the way they treat their employees, but shopping there can be a delight, and a lot of people love IKEA and IKEA furniture, so it's definitely two sides of the same coin. I think that you're definitely right in probably working at Waffle House being horrible. Random fact that it was called a colonizer yesterday while I was on the job. No joke, says Mobtown Tokyo. Ironic because I'm 1/8 Native American. I don't know Mobtown. I talked about yesterday. I talked about how like a lot of us have some colonizer blood in us. I talked about how my last name is Irish, and I'm definitely not an Irishman. Okay, but I know that there's a very specific reason why my last name is Irish. If you want to know, I can tell you, but the reasons are maybe a little more complicated than you might think. But a lot of black people have Irish last names, and a lot of black people are not Irish. Oh, it did kind of sound like baseball, didn't it? Ew, hold on. I kind of like it. I don't know. That is it. That is it, guys. But yeah, Waffle House. I mean, Whataburger yesterday was dope. Maybe I'll get some Waffle House today or later tonight. Might get Whataburger again today. Who knows? Gotta stock up before I go back home. Um, word. I'm gonna start going over a little bit of news now, guys. I have two releases. Is there Zaxby's in Arizona? There is not Zaxby's in Arizona. Zaxby's is very elusive. I can't think of Zaxby's existing at all outside of the southeast. I have seen Zaxby's. I just didn't have a chance to go in. I think Zaxby's. Really quickly, Jesse. Crystals. I've been to Crystals, but no, that's not on the West Coast either. That's more of a southern thing. Crystals is the south, and I think more north is White Castle. If we're talking about the same crystals, are you talking about the crystals that's basically White Castle? Or are you talking about a different thing? Arizona is a big blank spot to me, says Jesse. Okay, Arizona. Let me quickly explain Arizona. Arizona is a very, very good marriage between um, the South and the West. I think that it's the best merging of the South and the West and has its own identity. This is not a selling point for Arizona. Do not move to Arizona if you were considering moving to Arizona. But I would say that you have your Bible Belt, which is the South, that has a lot of like Southern qualities, and then you have Texas, which is Texas, and then you have the Western states. Now, New Mexico doesn't have a lot of that Southern feel for whatever reason, but then it crops back up in Arizona. I don't know exactly why this is. It's really peculiar. I think a lot of the people that live in Arizona, actually, like old Arizona, migrated here from the South. A lot of Southerners moved to Arizona and brought their culture with them. And so there is that. As far as food, guys, for whatever reason, like everything exists in Arizona. Like a lot of, and when I say everything, obviously there are some places like Zaxby's that is more regional specifically to where they are. But I'm saying a lot of things come right up to Arizona from the east and stop before they get to California, i.e. Whataburger or Waffle House. And a lot of things from California will go to Arizona and stop before they get to the East Coast, which is really interesting. Something I've noticed. Arizona is kind of like a great place for food. I mean, the fact that smoked poutine from Canada was even here in Arizona makes no sense, but all food kind of comes here. Arizona got a Shake Shack before California did. Um, Culver's, Arizona got Culver's before California did. Arizona got In and Out before like Texas and a lot of other places further east did. It's interesting. Yeah, Arizona has In and Out. Arizona has like just about everything, and it makes no sense. Hmm. Arizona's like a nice in between spot. Yeah, I guess so. Also, real estate here was and currently is very cheap compared to most other places. So if you're trying to open a business on the West Coast, Arizona is like decent, and then you look at California like taxes and property values, and you're like, oh, it's way too expensive to open up a location in Cali. Let's just open a few in Arizona, and then when we grow, we'll get to California. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of companies don't grow to the point where they feel like California is a realistic jump, so they just stay in Arizona. Um, and so who was it? Jesse? Somebody said that Arizona felt like a big blank spot. Arizona is the desert. Like I know Texas is technically a desert, but Texas is not landlocked. Texas does get a lot more humidity than Arizona does. Arizona is a desert. Like moisture, it's not here. The water is super hard. And people will say LA is a desert, but again, LA is not landlocked. LA gets moisture. LA gets rainstorms. LA gets full rivers and stuff like that. Arizona is a desert, and so because of that, a lot of the culture and stuff like that is bent around how hot and dry it is here. Um, but I don't blame you make for thinking of it as a big blank spot because there's really not that much that happens here significantly on a global or even a national scale. I mean, we have one of the seven world wonders or whatever. We have the Grand Canyon, but outside of that, a lot of people only think about the nature when they think about Arizona, and not necessarily the people and the culture. Okay, man, you were showing the temperature at night the other day, and I thought that was wild. Like how? Says Jaime. Oh, yeah, at night it'll usually get down like 1. Last night was like 103 actually, which wasn't bad. I'll be honest, when I first came back into Arizona from California, I was dying in my car because my AC in my car doesn't work. Um, so I was like, this is hard for me, and it was 118. It was like 118, and so I was feeling it. And then literally by day two, I was like already kind of reacclimated. And so last night it was like 103, and I was like chilling. I was like sitting in my car with the windows up, just eating. I wasn't even really sweating. It's fine. You get used to it. Dry heat is much more manageable when you're under shade or have some AC. That is the thing that I talk to my current roommate about a lot, Cyber. Because when I'm walking someplace, I will always walk in the shade. I'll look at where the sun is, and I'll even cross the street and walk in weird patterns to remain in the shade. And my roommate did not have this habit yet because my roommate moved to LA from Miami, or they were living in Miami and then Orlando, but they moved here from Florida. That's the point, and it's very humid in Florida, where being in the shade makes no difference. Being in a dry heat, the shade can make a whole like 5 to sometimes 10 degree difference depending on where you are. So, yeah. I will usually stay in the shade. However, being in a dry heat without AC uh, it doesn't really do anything. Also, driving in a car, if your car doesn't have AC like mine doesn't, driving around in Arizona is a joke. So yeah, it is pretty warm out here. But the thing is, you do get used to it pretty quickly. Kind of, we talked to yesterday, or maybe even the day before yesterday in the stream about how quickly the human body can acclimate and how like extreme cold temperatures are painful at first, but then you do kind of adjust. You adjust to the heat as well. Like for me, a pleasant temperature to like go out and walk around in is like 85 because of living in Arizona. Now I know for a lot of people, sometimes 85 is like really pretty warm. Like if you live in a place where 90 is like the highest it'll go, or like 95, 85 is like not comfortable. 85 is like a pleasant temperature to go out in. And living here in Arizona, a temperature that's just too cold to even like exist in, it would be like 40 or something. Now, having moved to LA, a lot of that has shifted where now I'm able to, you acclimate to wherever you move. Point I'm trying to make. Mine only works a little, only when I get to my destination, says Lindsay. I feel that. It's like when the car's like stuck in traffic, it's not working, but when you're like in a tunnel or someplace cool, suddenly the AC wants to blow cool air. East Coast sucks, it's 90 today and 40 tomorrow. Word up. Word up, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the East Coast weather patterns either. Ube. Mm, not a big fan. You know whose weather I like? Or at least while I was there. It's hard because in your travels, sometimes we'll go to a place just in a bad time. So people always talk about how amazing Montreal is in the summer, but since I went to Montreal in late November, I always think of Montreal as being a dreadfully cold place. The first time I went to Japan, I went during the summer when it's extremely humid and hot. And so I was like, I don't like this. This is not pleasant. I'm sweating all the time. Second time I went back to Japan, it was in December when it was really cold, and I actually enjoyed my time there a lot. It was really rainy too, which was appreciative. Um, yeah, I think a lot of for example, for New York, I seem to only go to New York during pleasant weather. I never go to New York when it's not pleasant, and it's not planned. It's like every single time I go, it's like 60s to 80s. It's like 60s to 80s. And so every time I've been in New York, and I've been in New York a lot, I'm like loving it. I'm just walking around enjoying my time and my life. But I know New York can have some pretty harsh weather as well. Between random storms and weird autumn springs, you really sort of consistent summers or sort of consistent winters, says nobody talking about East Coast weather. New York can get humid and it's usually mild, says Cyber. The honest with it's always sunny. Visiting place when you have. It's always funny visiting a place when you have unusually nice weather. The locals like freak out and say, "You brought the weather with you." People always say that crap. You brought the sun with you. You brought that LA sun out here. What do you? Yeah, people do say that a lot. But yeah, usually when I'm visiting a place, the weather is very pleasant. The only times where I visited a place and the weather wasn't pleasant, um, anytime I've gone to Florida, and the first time I went to Japan. Every single weather time, like Korea, beautiful weather. Toronto, amazing. Montreal was cold but amazing, not debilitatingly so. Detroit was rough, but you know that's Detroit. But yeah, mostly it's pretty good. Um, wow. All right, guys. I have two new releases out. One of them's called Ego Death. The other one's called Quick Breath. Since it is August, I'm gonna go ahead and really quickly check. Um, because I have too many releases and I don't remember. I don't remember what each one. Well, I remember what they're called, but I don't exactly remember when they came out. And so I actually have to check my. I have to check my. Oh crap! I missed it. Oh, guys, I missed it. Anyways, on August 2nd. Well, it was a Sunday anyway. I wasn't streaming, but on August 2nd, Ego Death turned 1 year old. It's officially been an entire year since I have released music. And so, first of all, happy belated birthday to Ego Dev. And also, this is a good place. I was trying to get specifically to this place, guys, because I haven't had a year between releases since 2010 or 11. 2011, I want to say. Since 2011, I've just been releasing every 6 months at least. At the very least, like 6 months is a huge stretch for me. So going an entire year has been, first of all, I want to say it hasn't really been my choice. There's been a lot of stuff going on with me and in the world that has kept me from working on and releasing and promoting music. But this has been the first time I've done that in a long time, and it's been actually pretty telling. I feel like it's forced me to look at music in slightly a different way than just kind of like get something out to keep everybody's interest. So that being said, you can hear both of those bodies of work, Quick Breath and Ego Death, that came out, a year ago on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, no, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. Also, while you're on my YouTube, I have some videos up. I'm always promoting quarantines because we're in quarantine indefinitely. So quarantines somehow, even though I haven't made one in what feels like ages, it's still relevant. So go listen to those if you haven't listened to them yet. They're about 2 minutes each, and there's only 8 of them. So you can even just watch one if you want. When I'm eating all the box waffles, I call it Ego Death. Oh, that's good. That's good. Can you believe I used to be jealous of like my white friends who got to eat Eggos? I remember going over to their place and like their mom would like throw a couple of Eggos in a toaster and feed us Eggos, and I would like flip. I was like, oh my god, white people live like commercials. Got like Captain Crunch, Eggo waffles, Rice Krispie treats, and stuff like that. And like, my mom was cooking like actual food, and I just remember like getting home and being like, I want Eggo waffle. How come we don't have Eggo waffle? How come I don't have a Lunchable? Where are the Pop Tarts? Um, what a whack kid. What a whack kid I was. But I blame TV. TV showed me a life that I thought was fake, and then I went to my first white household and I realized TV wasn't always fake. It was just extremely white. That's all. There wasn't any commercials for like soul food. Okay, why am I talking? Oh, because Cyber's joke. This was a good joke, Cyber. I enjoyed it. I miss my waffle iron. I got all the TV junk, says Liana. It's not much better. Oh, I don't think it is. I think it's actually worse. I think that an Eggo waffle is far worse for you as a human being than whatever my mom was making, which was actual food. But I just think as a kid, I was watching so much TV, I wanted to be like the TV people. I wanted to eat Eggos and like drink high C and like play with whatever toy they were trying to sell. I wanted that. I wanted the TV life. I wanted to go to McDonald's. Um, the TV never showed me commercials of like a black woman in a kitchen making home burgers. They didn't show me a commercial for that, so I didn't think it was cool or interesting. Okay, I genuinely think I've had an Eggo once. An Eggo waffle isn't horrible. It's just so not anything I want in my body. Same with Pop Tarts. Okay, the power of advertisement was real. Yes, Cyber. Yes, it was. And sometimes still is. I recently purchased something literally like the day I saw an ad for it. And it was. I'll never remember it. I'm not going to kill time in the stream. But I have vivid memories of going to Chili's. I was playing video games with my friend. I was playing Braid with my friend. No, yes. I was playing Braid. And the game was giving us a headache, so we turned it off. And we changed to the TV. And there was a commercial for Chili's. And they were promoting their new Honey Chipotle Chicken Crispers. And I remember we both looked at that commercial and we were like, yeah, we're going to Chili's. Because it was like a brand new commercial. And he had a car, which was dope. And he drove us to Chili's, and we ordered the Honey Chipotle Chicken Crispers, and we ate it. And as I don't know how old I was, but I mean, I was a teenager because my friend had a car. I remember the level of like manifestation, the satisfaction I felt when I was like, I saw a commercial, I wanted thing, I bought thing, now thing's in my tummy. That felt great. It was so immediate. Like we went from looking at that commercial to eating the thing in what, like 45 minutes max. It was great. Truly a tale of success. But advertisement is very powerful. And I can't remember what I did recently, but recently I saw an ad on maybe YouTube or something for food or something. And I remember like getting it and I was like, oh, as I was like having the thing, I was like, oh, that ad worked. Okay, don't forget to play us out before the end of the stream. Thank you, Cyber, for the reminder. I just like frozen waffles. I'm a frozen waffle fiend, says Umbe. Word up. We all got a fiend for something. I like, I fiend for, wow, I haven't had a ginger beer in a long time. I used to be a really big ginger beer head, but I haven't had a ginger beer, in like, Jesus, maybe a year now? That's insane. It hasn't been a year. It's been like, I haven't had a ginger beer since 2019 though. Once in middle school, I was excited to have McDonald's for dinner, and my friends made fun of me, and it was revealing. Aww. Instagram got me with an eyebrow product last month. Yet I don't even wear makeup anymore. Instagram got me with that weird razor that they're like, I don't even know what the name of the razor is, but it's like I think the ad is something like, "You tired of nicking yourself? No more nicking," and then they show it like pressing against. It's like it's for like manscaping, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, no worry of cutting yourself. And so I bought this thing. I think it was like $60, and I had just gotten paid for a commission, so I was like, yeah, get a razor. Hmm. And it was an Instagram ad. Now I keep getting ads from them, but I'm not gonna buy another one. I already have one. Everybody. I'm still in Arizona. I'm still here. I'm still here. It's so romantic. Um, I'm still here. I gotta figure out my car thing and hopefully get back home soon. Soon. This is what I hope. Boom, 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 boom. Meanwhile, I waited nearly 4 weeks to get it. Jesus Christ, 4 weeks. I'm one of those impatient people now that if I'm ordering something and it says that it's going to take longer than a week, I just don't order it. And I don't mean I don't order it and I go to find it someplace faster. I just go, I guess I don't need that thing. I guess I don't need that thing that bad. Right now, it's really hard to find Ghost of Tsushima, by the way. It's like sold out everywhere. If any of you guys find Ghost of Tsushima, can you like link me to it so I can have it like soon? It's freaking weird. This is a great example why I'm an easy target, says Lindsay. I didn't realize it was going to take so long, and I would not have ordered it. Oh, word up, Lindsay. It's not sold out digitally, true cyber, but you know how I feel about digital. You know how I feel about digital purchases. Somebody gave me $1, and I don't know who it was, but thank you for that dollar. Was it Jaime? Who was it? Who did that? Thank you, whoever it was. Thank you for the $1. I appreciate you. I don't know what that is on me. What is that? It's a video game, Jaime. Ghost of Tsushima. It's like a Sucker Punch game. Can somebody... it was Jaime. Wow. Thank you, Jaime. What? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, if somebody finds that game, send me a link to it. Oh, I don't like buying digital games, Cyber, because why doesn't Nami like buying digital games? Because I think that it should be cheaper. I think that if I'm paying $60, yes, the game is worth $60, but also I kind of like, the art on the box. I like the little booklet. I like having a case so I can put it on like the stack. Like I feel like part of my $60 is going to the plastic that went to make this case and the booklet. And I feel like if I'm going to pay that same amount for a digital download, I want my case and I want my disc. Also, if I'm buying a physical, I can resell it if I want to. I can say, hey, you want Ghost of Tsushima used? And I can sell it. I can't sell a digital download. So it's like no return on my investment at all. Yeah. Thank you, Cyber, for understanding. It's like so weird. Yeah. So, anyways, I wish I could own more Switch games physically. Yeah, word up, Jaime. There's a game called What Time? What Time? It's made by Kata, who made Katamari. And so I really want to play this game because I love that man. That is a man I love. But physicals are not in any store, so I have to order it, and I hate it. I hate ordering things. I like going to stores and picking things up. I'm like, maybe I'm a fossil or a dinosaur or a relic or something like that. I know a lot of people love Amazon priming things. I like going to stores and picking things up off the shelf and then like going to a human being and then smiling at them. I hate like ordering stuff online. It's so annoying to me. Doesn't make me feel good. Okay, I just like looking at my games collection IRL. It's satisfying. This is true. That's how I feel about comic books. Everybody that was like, you should read CBRs or you should read comic books online on a tablet. And I'm like, but then what will I put on my shelf? Amazon Kindle? Wait. Yes, Amazon is Kindle. Who makes the other one? Who makes the paperweight? Paperweight? It doesn't matter. I'm all for digital. I wish I could own digital games physically, however, if that makes any sense. What? That does make sense. That's what a game is. Umbe, right? Like, Like, I mean, what? Maybe you mean in a different context, but like, I mean, I have Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's technically like it's on, it's digital, it's a game, it's digital information, and I have a physical thing of it. It's both. It's both. It's two things. Limited run games says cyber. Mm. Mm. I have all the Death Note volumes at home. Wish I had the others I read in the past, but we had to split them up because between my sisters and me. What? That's wild. Um, I haven't bought a manga since I don't know, like 1963. I don't really buy manga anymore. All the manga that I have is very old. It's like FLCL, Trigun, Hellsing, Death Note, stuff like that. Um, Split custody manga. There's a girl that lived here. Oh, she probably still lives here. She had the biggest manga collection. I remember sitting in her room. That was so weird. That was so weird. There were so many. I didn't know what was going on. You know. You ever just end up someplace? You end up in a place because you don't know how to say no to things, and then before you know it, you're just like, where am I? Who are these people? Like, how did I get like? Anyways, there was a girl that was like a big weed that lived here in Arizona, and one day I just kind of found myself in her house because I felt like she was friends with somebody I was friends with, and then she asked me to hang out at a thing, and then we went to Denny's, and then I got in a car with somebody else, and then we went to another location. Then I ended up back at her place with like three other friends, and I was looking at like these bookshelves filled with manga, and I remember thinking like, oh, I can't be this. I can't ever let this happen to me. No offense to weebs. Weebs are dope, but I just remember seeing the way that she specifically lived and what her room looked like, and I was just like, oh God, no, no, mm-mm. Hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. Oh, just one of those computer desks where there were so many figurines. There were so many like little anime figurines on the desk that you couldn't like. It's like a cute light up keyboard and then just big figurine, big boob figurine, booty out figurine, upskirt figurine, just like so much. And then a sword, and then a wall scroll, and a wall scroll, several bookcases of manga. It was just so much. I'm sure she still lives here. No one leaves. Anyways, shouts out to her and everybody that's a weeb. Mad Cat says, probably exactly what I want my room to like look like. Word, Mad Cat. More power to you. I don't like books, but mangas hit different for me. I like Mad Cat. Mad Cat's funny. There's a fine line between oh I want cool collection and we'll get along probably and oh my god they're a weeb. Yeah. There's a line. There's for sure a line. I know a dude like that says Jaime. God bless that dude. Um, uh, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It never could be me. It could never be me. That was so much. Ugh. Wow. Sorry. I'm like, ugh. I like feel like I'm suffocating thinking of that woman's room. Me and her had such a horrible relationship too, by the way. You had, I used to just let myself get kind of bullied into so many things. I don't know what was my problem. I just ended up with a lot of friends. I didn't even like them. I never liked them, and sometimes I would try to think back where I'm like, how do I know this dude? And I just couldn't remember. It was like we met in an arcade, and then one thing led to another, and now I'm just like at their wedding, and I'm like, I don't even like him. I don't even like this person. I'm all the way out there. Why did I drive 3 hours to watch somebody I don't like get married to somebody I don't know? Okay, is there a truck outside? It's like a howling dog? No. Um, no. That's the sound of plumbing. There's like a faucet, a tap, a hose directly on the other side of the wall for this bedroom. And so if my mom or somebody is watering the plants, it just sounds like that on the inside. Um, but no, it's definitely not a dog. Sounds like pipes, says Liana. Ooh, okay. Liana, I gotta remember to bring you along next time I'm out in the woods. Unless you just think everything sounds like pipes, then you probably won't be very useful. But like, I do like the accuracy that Liana can peg sounds. What phone is this again? This is a. The mic is so great. Wow. Thanks, Google. It's a Google Pixel. It's a Google Pixel. It's not even like the new one either. It's like the budget model. Google makes a good phone. Google makes a good phone. I know a lot of people are not even only anti-Google, but they're also just anti-Android. They're like, he's an Android phone, but Google makes a very good phone. So, yeah. If you've liked any of my streams or any of my videos, like all of my quarantine videos, they're all shot on my phone. Also, all of the vocals for my songs were also recorded on my phone. Anyways, Madcat made a weeb joke that I didn't get or see or read. I don't think anybody got it. I don't know. Pixel 4a came out a few days ago. I got an ad for the Pixel 4a Cyber. I think it said it was like $350. I may be bumping up from the 3a to the 4a. Who knows? But I do like how big the normal pixels are. Anyhow, budget reminds me of the roast discourse. Saying someone is a budget. It's one of my favorite insults. Yeah. Yeah. I've been called a budget version of other celebrities. Anti-Google is a good joke, to be honest. Can't get away from them anyways. Yeah, you can't. You can't. But yeah, my phone is a Google phone. I feel like I'm too used to having an iPhone. Getting an Android would just be too big of a jump for no reason. Peas Bean, that is the best thing. You have said a thing that I wish everybody could say, which is just, I don't think the thing I'm using is superior. I'm just stuck in it, which is me with a lot of things. People are like, is FL Studio really good at making music? And I'm like, it's okay. I don't think it's better than anything else. It's just what I use. And so now, if I switch, I don't want to have to relearn something else. I think that a lot of people can probably honestly say that about iPhones or Android phones, but instead what they choose to say is that the other one is inferior. Where it's like, oh, that phone's bad. Did you hear it? That one blew up. Like when, I think it was like a Galaxy, like, caught fire or something, or blew up, and everybody was like, I'll never use a Samsung phone. They explode when you touch them. And when iPhones were like bending, remember, like, I don't know, it was like 2014 or 2013 where they were just bending. It was like Bendgate. And everybody was like, I would never get an iPhone. Those things bend as soon as you start talking on them. They're like made out of Laffy Taffy. Everybody was like, come on, guys. A phone's a phone. Anywho, I don't want to learn Ableton is why I stay in FL. Same, Mobtown Tokyo. Same. Great value is what I've heard more often than budget. Jaime. Great value. Yes. iPhones are just expensive for no reason, says Eddie. That used to be my take on why I didn't want an iPhone, and it was true, it was valid. But then the phone that I was using got really expensive. Like, I feel like the top three, in my field of view, is like the Galaxy, the iPhone, and the Pixel, and all three of them, like when they come out, are like $1,000 usually. So it's like, yeah, they're all really expensive, but you can definitely get a dope phone that's not those three. Android has a lot of so I'll say that if you like Android has more cost-efficient options versus an iPhone because there's not just one. There's like so many options with Android. So that's, I guess, one advantage. I work on phones, so I can vouch for certain phone rumors, says Mobtown. Ableton is bland too, like beige and black, is it? No color. Yeah, there's a little bit of color in it, but not as much as FL Studio. Ableton feels so professional, lol, even though I'll never use it, says Madcat. Word. Edison isn't bad. Edison is not bad, Mobtown. I also don't learn how to use Edison because I have Pro Tools and get so much flack for that. That's fair. I mean, whatever way works for you. Audacity is funny. That's a fun joke. I get that for sure. I only get my phone upgraded when there's a good deal deals on it. Oh, peas bean. I would never upgrade my phone until my old one broke. And then I got sponsored by Verizon. Guys, remember that time? Remember how fun that was? When I got free phone? And so I got sponsored by Verizon, then I got free phone for a minute, and then I mysteriously lost my Verizon sponsorship and then stopped using Verizon. That's for sure. And then I went back to T-Mobile and got my current phone. But yeah, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and learn how to do all the fancy programming for my Launchpad in FL, says Jesse. Yeah, go for it. You wouldn't be the first. A lot of people have definitely done that undertaking. Mad Cat says, what? Laughing at Audacity because it's not a DAW. I have T-Mobile too, says Liana. Good. People think I upgrade my phone every week because I'm a tech head, and they lose it when I tell them I use my old one until it breaks, says Umbe. I only used Ableton to use my Launchpad, and then FL added the ability to use it, and I stuck to only FL, says Jaime. Oh wait, you were serious? Well, I mean, if it works, Mad Cat, more power to you. I usually make fun of Audacity because Audacity was a very, very popular tool for Nightcore people a few years ago. And I mean, I'll never not make fun of Nightcore people. So there's that. But Audacity, I mean, it's made for a reason. You can definitely use it. I just wouldn't build songs in it at all. Edison is the audio editing VST and FL Studio, right? Yes. FL Studio is still kind of finicky with launchpads, though. I agree. Mocktown Tokyo. FL Studio is kind of finicky with a few things, but it's getting better. In FL20, they're fixing a lot of that, but there are a few things that were kind of weird still, especially in 12, in FL12. This has turned into, I guess, a gear talk now. It's just gear and business talk. Oh, you're talking about Dash. Oh, okay. Mad Cat, I take back everything that I said. Yes, you're fine. That was a gross miscommunication. I thought that you were talking about the program Audacity. I hear you. Word, compared Audacity to Edison, Audacity to FL. I totally get that. Edison is way more complex and capable than Audacity, but if what you need done is something somewhat simple, then definitely use Audacity over Edison, right? It's like for me, when I'm recording my vocals, I use my phone because what I need for recording my vocals isn't that complicated, but if you have more complicated things you need to do, then maybe invest in getting a microphone to record your vocals. I'm with you, Mad Cat. I'm caught up. What happened to fan fiction? He dropped off the internet. Ooh. Nobody in the stream knows who you're talking about, Liana, except for me, and I can't tell you because it's not a cool story, and me and fanfic have had a time. Wow, this is what a diplomatic response. Me and fanfic had a time, and fanfic is no longer visible to some of us, and yes. Umbe says, I edit all of my vocals in Pro Tools and export to FL, which sounds super tedious and makes people scream at me for not using Edison, but be like that sometimes. I totally get you, Umbe. I mean, I have a lot of really weird workflow stuff as well. For example, singing into a phone and Dropboxing myself my vocals instead of simply singing into a mic, which I own, by the way, right now. Yeah, it's, whatever way works for you. I'm never gonna crap on somebody else's workflow. Also, I found yesterday during a cleaning session in FL that I installed on my laptop, found an old project and kind of opened it and felt like production stream. It felt like a production stream. That's fun. Hi, me. Hey, Omni, if by any chance you listen to an old school rap, could you play the synth from Big Papa by Biggie? I do listen to old school rap, but the synth of it isn't in my head right now. I can't think of the simple line. So, no. I'm sorry, Mad Cat. Good song, though. You have good taste in old hip hop, I suppose. Good song, good song. Good song, good song. Um, word. Anyways, I think we wrapped that up. I don't know what we'll say. This is like music producer talk. Um, I'm still in Arizona. Ooh. Oh, I'm about to tear that song up later. Okay, okay, okay. Enough. Um, when I get home. Sounds like a sea shanty, says Mobtown Tokyo. Word. I hear you. I hear you. I think I think sea shanties always make me think of Black Flag. Black Flag, Assassin's Creed, the pirate one. Anywho, thank you, Jaime, again for the dollar. This feels like a 1970s party in England with women making wine with that dance. Catching the tail end of the stream, says Dara. You sure are. Everybody, I'll keep you updated whenever I get out of here. What's going on with me? It is Wednesday, so hopefully, ideally, I would get out of here sometime tomorrow, so that I can do the stream still, the production stream on Friday. But I also have to do like a raid and an MMO tomorrow at 6 p.m. So I guess I could always reschedule, but I don't know how. I would have to catch them, and they live in Japan. Anyways, doing my best here, guys. Thank you so much for being respectful of me, and polite to one another. It matters greatly, especially when the streams run this long. I feel like $1,000,000, baby. No, I don't. I feel wild. Being in Arizona does a lot of really weird things to me mentally, and so, yeah, I'm swimming in it. But I hope that the rest of you guys enjoy your Wednesday. Make the most of it, and I will be here tomorrow again at 9 a.m. That's not changing. I will still be here. Um, mm, 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 mm. Maybe that is the heat. Maybe Mad Cat. Maybe. Um, but I miss my apartment. I miss my bed, my TV. I miss my big TV. Ugh, all this time I'm out of town and my roommate's watching my TV. I have to go like hug my TV when I get home. Poor baby. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I really do. Thank you again for being respectful to me and polite to each other. This has been 193. Tomorrow will be 194 at 9 a.m. Hopefully I'll see you then. Abo, everybody. Oh. Yeah, no, you heard me, Dar. I miss my TV, okay? My TV is the one that I paid the money for. Alright. I hope you really do hug your TV. I hug my TV every day. That's not a joke. I hug my TV. I hug my TV every day. When I open the blinds to the living room, and then I go and I hug the corner of my TV. I love that thing. It's very important to me. It's very important to me, and it cost me an almost shameful amount of money. It cost me almost my entire tour bonus. What the heck? Oh, okay. Abo, everybody.